Joining us right now, Dr. Jen Berman. She's a licensed therapist who's been in practice for 20 years. She started when you were 4. She has a new show called Couples Therapy. It premieres on VH1
How do I
next
sign up
month.
for that?
And of course, it's important we only talk about celebrities because they're the only people who count.
But
do
normal people, regular people go to you too? Have you done that kind of
Yes, I do tons of regular people therapy.
Is there a
celebs
difference between regular people and celebrities?
There isn't a huge difference when it comes to in my office and the issues that
Dynamics.
come up. Although there are certain issues that celebrities have to face when it comes to the paparazzi. It's kind of like relationship on steroids in a certain way.
Some relationships thrive on that, like they're together, they're both getting paparazzi'd, and it's kind of like a high for them and a rush, like we're important, everybody wants our picture?
I think it can create a lot of distraction that's not good for the relationship. It can create competitiveness, and also I've seen, and this came up a lot on the VH1 show, where the paparazzi interferes and where rumors are created, and it's hard to know, are you being faithful, are you not being faithful? Is that picture that you were taken with someone else? Were you really canoodling?
Well,
what
Ashton and Demi are a great example because he did cheat. Allegedly, or do we know that he did it? Probably.
Allegedly.
Were you there?
I was not.
Well,
I cannot tell a lie.
The girl sold a story. And so that to me sometimes right away says, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. But obviously cheating is one dynamic of a relationship. Some people weather the storm.
Here's another pressure that I'd like you to speak to, and that is that celebrity couples, for good or for ill, become surrogates in our lives as well for our emotions, our feelings, our aspirations. And so we expect too much of them.
We do.
We put our personal stuff into them, and we're personally sad, which is a little weird.
Well, no, he's right, because when Seal and Heidi Klum broke, I was like, what? What? They have 4 kids. This is not possible.
And same thing with Jennifer and Brad. I think that we're all looking for role models, and we don't have enough role models in our personal lives, so we're constantly looking to celebrities. Please be that role model. But they face just as many pressures as we do, and oftentimes more. And
let's talk about Kobe and Vanessa, because I find them an interesting couple. I saw them about 2 years ago, and they came up and said, thanks for helping us during a really hard time. And I know it was the deal with the whole chambermaid woman.
Yes.
So there was, obviously, they weathered that storm. What's going on now?
Well,
more girls?
The rumor is that they're splitting up, and it's not terribly surprising, but I think that when they first started out, she was incredibly young. Oftentimes when you start out in a relationship that young with someone who is so powerful and so well known, it becomes your identity, makes it a lot harder to leave, even when a scandal like the chambermaid scandal and the alleged rape came up.
She starts growing up and feeling her own sense of power.
Yep, and becoming a more independent person and realizing, hey, I could leave and I just might be okay.
So they're sort of on the rocks still. I know he's trying to win her back. He has been for the past 3 weeks, and she'll decide whether or not that will happen. It'll be her deciding factor because he's been the bad boy, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the ball's in her court. Let's talk a little bit about Whitney.
In her court.
Let's talk a little bit about Whitney and Bobby, because that was a very tumultuous relationship for a very long time. Did they have a chance?
Well, when you have drug addiction that doesn't get treated, you don't stand a chance. Had both of them gotten clean and sober and stayed clean and sober, it could have been a whole different story.
That could have been a partnership that they shared together and give them strength in and of itself.
Exactly. For couples to work the 12 steps together, it can transform their relationship.
You know, there's a simplistic take on all of this, and obviously every couple lives a public fiction, and we really don't understand what's going on. You would in the office, but he came along, this young dude. She was the established, beautiful star, and he destroyed her life. Is that too simplistic?
I think it is too simplistic, and I think that the music business in particular is known for having all kinds of drug issues and drug problems, and nobody can make you use drugs for the first time, and she chose, allegedly, to use when she used. Obviously, he was a contributing factor, and we all wish that they had all gotten sober and lived happily ever after.
Let's move to Seal and Heidi Klum, and I use them because we think on the outside they don't have any issues of drugs. We never see them out partying. TMZ's never on them. They're a family couple with 4 children, but they're just human beings. And at the end of the day, you either get along with your human or you don't.
And also, one of the things that we read about, at least with that couple, is sort of the shift that's taken place where she has sort of skyrocketed. Her career has just become so huge. And a lot of the time in celebrity couples, when that shift happens, it can be a difficult transition. It's one that can be weathered, but not every couple can. Is it harder for the man if the woman is the star, do you think?
Sure.
I think oftentimes it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, we got our issues. We have our,
you guys want to be the hunter-gatherer.
A question for you, first of all, a statement. In the old days, when people had a huge commitment, capital C, to a relationship, a lot could be weathered. We live in a toss-away society now, and marriages become toss-away, and they're like trials. All right, if it works, it doesn't. But do you find when people come to you for therapy, and this is a big issue in therapy, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, as you know.
He's been my therapist for many years.
No, they come in, one wants to win. The other wants to win. They don't want to fix, they want to win.
Well,
it's your fault, not mine.
Yes, it's very common that when a couple comes in, someone has the agenda, fix him or fix her, convince her that
give me vindication.
Right. Yes, but the truth is, in really good couples therapy, we know that couples it's a 50-50 dance. It takes two to tango.
So hard
and it's
sometimes.
really easy, especially when one becomes the identified patient, when one seems like the bad guy, if someone has cheated.
Right.
But oftentimes, that's a reflection of cracks in the relationship that need to be done.
When do you throw in the towel?
Do you know when they walk in the door what your chances are of success?
I have pretty good instincts, but also I believe in couples. I believe in the ability to change. I believe in therapy tremendously.
When does a couple, if they've weathered many storms together, and let's say there's not necessarily cheating or anything like that, but just that day-to-day they cannot, when do you throw in the towel?
Well, I think it depends on a lot of factors. If there's domestic violence, if it becomes too unsafe to stay in the same place.
Let's say there's none of that. Let's just say this is an issue of the sky is blue. No, it's not. It's black.
Yeah. It's a difficult question to answer because I'm such a believer in therapy, and I'm a believer that if two people are highly motivated to change, if they're highly motivated to stay in the relationship and they're committed, that almost anything can be worth it.
Don't you often find that when people go to therapy, it's really only one who's going to therapy and the other gets dragged along?
Not always. More often than you would expect. Two people come because they're in pain. Something in this relationship is not working. Even if the agenda is fix her, everybody wants the pain to stop and everybody wants a more peaceful relationship.
Another question.
Yeah.
Do you know any good songwriters?
Yeah, I know a couple.
Okay.
Couples Therapy premieres on VH1. It is next month, right?
It is the 21st of March.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations.
We're talking about the Brill Building.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep on helping couples out there.
What's coming up?
Even though